Hey wrestling figure fans, welcome to the alternate action figure podcast. We all remember and love dearly wrestling figures by Hasbro, and we remember, unfortunately, when the WWF and Hasbro parted ways in the mid-90s. But what if that relationship never ended? What if Hasbro kept making WWF figures? Join Pablo, Fox and Joe as they deep dive, debate and collectively decide on which WWF superstars would have and should have been immortalised in Hasbro figure form. This is the Alternate Action Figure Podcast.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Alternate Action Figure Podcast. We are three beautiful hairy men who are going to guide you through our choices for what we believe, and we're going to probably fight over this because we've had knife fights and alleys. We've woken up together. It's been quite a journey through these episodes so far. I am here with Joe and I'm here with Fox. Hello, how are you doing?
Good.
Fox,
Yeah.
the
Hi.
hammer of all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
I didn't ask how you were doing. I don't care. No, I'm joking. No, so if you've been listening to the previous episodes, you know that we've been through the year of 1995, split into two halves, January to June, and then July to December, and we've had some fierce debate, and we've seen some common ground as well, and I think we've picked some pretty strong and in some cases very unexpected choices for our fantasy figure lineups, and
Peg warmers. I think a few people have said peg warmers.
I think we have a couple in the 3 for 10 bin in the last series, but hey, every toyline has
in 30
them, right?
years in 30 years time though they'll be worth a lot of money, so I'm
They
sure
will,
once
yeah,
we
the ones-
do
absolutely.
The ones that nobody wanted.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
The ones that I always want.
Yeah. I hear you.
Send me your dog shit figures. I'll have them.
so Joe's gonna bring us up to date, kind of like a Netflix recap at the start of the season, and tell us what we have decided on so far for our I'm gonna say series 12 and 13.
Nope. Series
13 and 14.
Series 12. Yeah, that's right. Series 12 would have been the unreleased orange set. So we've
Orange.
covered.
There you go.
Yeah. So we've covered
I always get that
series
wrong.
12 and 13. 13 and 14. Yeah. This is series 15.
Yes, yeah. Now we're all screwed up. Starting off on a good note here. Previously on the Alternate Action Figure Podcast. I did that because Pablo said the Netflix thing. So, series 13, the turquoise cards.
No, I'm joking.
We have Aldo Montoya, the King of Hearts, Owen Hart, Man Mountain Rock, King Kong Bundy. I think that's a big gap filled right there, and big in more ways than one. 5. And then Purple Undertaker, and Bob Sparkplug Holly. And then series 14, the kind of bright purple cards, we have, with the first ever Intercontinental Championship for the Hasbro line, Dean Douglas, the Roadie. This was some common ground. The British Bulldog that Pablo and I kind of saw eye to eye with a little bit, and you know, did a little mishmash of our picks last time.
Because what we need right now is
Donnies.
another retro British Bulldog figure.
Yeah, right. Hey, in 1995, we did not have more than one. So there we go.
That's what we've got to remember for ours. Is that we're in 1995. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
and I have a
I always have in my head
before we go too far, and then whether or not these are peg warmers, I would love them. I think we would all love them. Alundra Blaze and Aja Kong. Now, with the way that the women's division went after this, I think those are in that 3 for $10 bin, unfortunately, and that's not a knock on women's wrestling,
Nope.
or either of them. We've got Aja Kong coming in the KWK line that I'm thrilled to sculpt. I cannot wait. So,
this is the
very,
thing with what
very
Joe's just said.
excited.
With what Joe's just said there regarding what's happened with the women's division, it's essentially we've thankfully got the ability to see into the future from 1995 and realize that there was essentially no women's division for several years after the leaving, if you like, of Aja and Miss Blaze. So yeah, it's kind of like they're the last two sort of figures that would have ended. Well, which would have been in the women's division. They're the last two figures that essentially probably would have come out if they had have done it, because there was nobody else to bring out after that for a quite an amount of time. There's other figures. Don't get me wrong. There's other female wrestlers at the time I would have had in, but
we'll get
at
to
the
that.
start of night, but go. Well, okay then.
All right, yeah.
Pablo thinks otherwise.
So before I want to jump into the picks and everything, but kind of going on this topic.
Sorry.
Of
so
going into this topic of being able to see into the future. Something I thought about after we recorded last episode, and I think all of us have been guilty about this reasoning, and I'm not saying we need to do away with it, but I just want to talk about it. When we say somebody like all right, let's go back in time, because I don't want to give away any potential picks. Somebody like Hulk Hogan is going to have a lot of opportunities for figures, right? We can see into the future, but should we see into the future? If you catch my drift. So,
yeah.
Last time, not to harp on one of my picks not going through, Hunter Hearst Helmsley didn't get through because he's going to have a lot more opportunities for figures. But do we know that?
I agree.
Should we know that? You know what I mean? It's kind of like it's like an Inception.
Yeah,
we're going in different directions here, and I don't know that we need to do away with that mindset. Lost my words there, but it's just something to think about. You know what I mean?
It's tricky because it's like the reasoning for it gives precedent to why you would opt for somebody else at that moment in time over the main eventers, because if you like, because the issue we've got is if we say the bigger names or who we perceive to potentially be the bigger names, then theoretically you would pick them every single time. You know what I mean? For every single series because of the biggest names. So it's there's a bit of both. I can completely agree with where you're coming from. At the same time, however, it kind of creates a bit of space for those names who didn't get the figures or maybe wouldn't because
and that's my that's why I'm not saying we shouldn't do it anymore, but maybe just be cognizant of it, because it's like, it's cool that we can do it. And obviously anybody listening to this niche of a podcast is understanding that idea as well. But
I'll tell you what, you stop doing it, but I'll keep doing it.
Okay, there we go. And Pablo's going to be the wild card that does it when he wants to, and that's it. And I'm probably still going to do it sometimes. So,
well,
you know,
speaking of
but I know where you're coming from. Yeah.
Yes. Well, we all thought Techno Team 2000 would last forever, you know. So speaking of cards,
that's true.
We all have, none of us have used these yet. We have the three following cards. We have the character card. Now, this is if you want to, now, was it if you wanted to add a character with the person, or if you wanted to just...
Yes, it has to be
a character, but it has to be a non-wrestler. Correct.
It has to be a non-wrestler, and it has to be completely, fully relevant to one of the wrestlers that you're putting in. So, for example, if you said Paul Bearer, for example, it has to be with the Undertaker, or Mankind, or Kane. You know what I mean? It has to be relevant to the character that you're putting in, and it has to be time relevant as well. So, if you're putting Kane in, it has to be, for example, Paul Bearer in his red. You know, it doesn't have to be that. You see what I'm saying? It has to be relevant to the time frame of that character that you're putting in as well. You can't put Paul Bearer from 92 in with Kane from 97, 98.
This is why I think some of my picks are going to be a little controversial, but we'll get to that.
Oh, sorry, we'll just vote you off.
And well, this is where the veto card, the cleverly made veto card, will come into play. So, and we also have the play set. So, you know, if you were to have WrestleMania 12 Roddy Piper, you would need the entire Hollywood backlot for it to come with. If you were to, I'm trying not to go obvious here. If you were to have Razor Ramon from 96, it would have to come with a nappy and a big baby bottle.
I love it.
And a big bag of
that
cash.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, and those are our free cards, which can be used at any point during this entire series, but can only be used once, so we have to use them wisely.
I get the impression the fact that Pablo's banged on about it for so long that he's going to be using some of his cards tonight, Joe.
Yeah,
On me.
I'm actually going to use my veto card 3 times, which I know isn't allowed, but I need the Nacho Man, the Huckster, and
you've taken my ideas.
Ted. I don't know what his gimmick name was on this, but Ted Turner.
Billionaire Ted.
Billionaire Ted.
Billionaire Ted. Thank you.
What about Scheme
Yeah, all
Gene?
3 of them are going through.
Scheme
you know
Gene.
what? Let's do the whole series of just those guys. Scheme
Let's
Gene.
just scrap what we're doing.
And there we go. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See ya. That's good.
Did you know
Pablo,
that?
let's hear it. Let's roll.
Before
in.
we get into them quickly, did you know that the Nacho Man costume was also the costume that the Knights wore when they opened the ring? You know, Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy.
When they open the doors?
No. Oh. Yeah, it's the same costume. It's the same outfit. There was a lot of silence there. I feel like I didn't explain that very well.
You cut out.
Yeah, you did. Cut out
did
for
I
me
cut out?
too. I wasn't sure if it was.
Your own computer stopped you from talking.
My fact was so mind blowing that it just broke the internet. Anyway, right.
Yeah,
so
we're back.
And no matter what anyone else says, I didn't draw this over and over again until I didn't get 2 months in a row. I just happened to definitely have January and June of 1996. So we're covering the first half of 1996. So January to June, and I have January and June. So my first choice would be, for a January choice, it would be an updated 1-2-3 Kid. Because he very much needs a new attire at that point. And again, like, I feel like I'm always been a little bit cautious with like some of the choices, because I think what would Hasbro do, and they'd probably do some repaints, and I think quite likely they would, you know, just repaint that 1-2-3 Kid, and do him in the I would say black and sort of white gear that he wore at that time, because he had the purple, he had the red, he had the blue, and he had the black, and probably go with the black, and it would obviously be same actions and stuff. Like if you know, it wasn't going to just be a repaint, I would have some kind of kicking action, but I think Hasbro, being Hasbro, I think would just reuse the head and repaint, and I don't think people would have a problem with it, to be honest. You know, so 1-2-3 Kid, who was freshly a heel in January 1996 and feuding with Razor Ramon, cost him the Intercontinental belt against Goldust, and that would be my first.
Cool.
I could see them painting on like a headband too, using the same head sculpt, but just, you know, adding some deco there
to hide his
that would be
eyebrows
cool.
that he didn't have.
Yeah, there you go. I think he had them by 96. They grew back.
Well, that's the thing as well, because he's got like a fringe, hasn't he? But you could paint it underneath the fringe and have the fringe over the top, maybe.
Yeah.
And you know, they could even paint his eyebrows to look more evil, I guess, because he's a heel. So 1-2-3 Kid would be my first. Now, staying in January, January, the Royal Rumble, very interesting event because there were debuts. The scene was changing quite a bit. Monday Night War was definitely very much on. So Vader would be the next choice for January. And largely they would just use in my opinion, use the Earthquake/Typhoon body, because that's an easy paint job. I can imagine them just painting the gloves. But that would be my choice, my second choice for January. And I think it would be an easy one to do, based on that. And I think it would look good as well. And I'm sure the head would be very animated and stuff like that. And it wouldn't need to come with any accessories either, because he didn't really have anything at that point. Though I will make it clear, though, he won't have a singlet on backwards like he did at the Royal Rumble. He would have it. So technically, because he only had 2 matches in January, it would be from the night he faced Savio Vega, the night he got suspended. And that's when he wore the singlet the correct way around. Because we've got to be nerdy about this.
Yeah.
So, choice number 3, for January, talking about debuts and returns, it would be a 1996 Jake the Snake. Now, I still can see Hasbro reusing the head, and the entire torso and everything. But they would either have to paint on the vest, or if they're feeling a little kinky, they might actually make him a new vest. I think because
to be honest,
the vest
right, just sorry, I didn't mean
Yeah.
to interrupt. Just to jump in, it's very, very rare that Hasbro just painted on something. There was always molded tops, generally, whether it was vests or
That's true.
like it was always molded. So chances are he probably would have. You could have got away with, I suppose, thinking about it, was like a waistcoaty kind of thing, wasn't it? So you could have got away with like a smoking guns vest or a razor kind of vest, I suppose. If you wanted to go molded, I didn't mean to interrupt your sabotage thing there, but just
No, it's okay.
you've got
yeah.
options.
Well,
a
I
vest.
think the main making you, because the thing is, the vest also it hung over, it wasn't tucked in or anything, and it was also always tied up. So I mean, I guess they could use the vest depending on how close it was together, and then because he had like the interlocking sort of like toggles or whatever, to tie the thing together. So a vest could work, but I guess the mega ripped, the smoking guns figure or the Bart gun figure is,
it is.
/ razor. But I mean,
You know,
it's not a
Jake
bad
the
choice.
Snake being such a big name, they probably
Yeah.
would be willing to put towards the money to do a molded, new molded torso.
I mean,
Especially if they're going to
possibly.
get away with reusing the legs and the head and potentially the arms, unless you were thinking something
Well, my
different.
choice, if they were going to make a new torso, I would then have a sort of an underhook sort of arm for the DDT at
I
that
was
point.
hoping you were going to say that. Yeah.
Yeah. And he would come with not necessarily bag, but he would come with Snake, and it would be a yellow Revelations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably just
So
repaint the
that,
snake, right?
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's easy, so that would be
Cool.
all of my January. Now June. Now this is where it potentially gets. I don't know if controversial is the word, but it would require a lot of new molds. Is the thing, because as you've both said, the women's division did end in 95, really, but 96 was the beginning of a new type of women's division where it was the female managers and there was more than one. So my choices for June 96 first would be Marlena. Now, there's no way you can do these figures without having to make new molds. But since we've got Aja Kong and Lundra Blaze, I would find a way to reuse the Alundra Blaze mold, and potentially, like the Berserker, so it's not out of the question, give a cloth dress. Doesn't have to be anything too fancy. The cigar, I think you could probably have done the cigar back then because the BCA did come with a cigar, so you should be holding the cigar.
That's true.
I do think the director's chair, I mean, we're fantasy booking, but I think the director's chair would have been probably too much of a stretch to fit in a Hasbro packaging, and her legs wouldn't have bent anyway. So, if we're looking at Alundra, so I would have Marlina.
It's a controversial pick, that, because I wasn't sure that we were allowed to pick managers as selections. I thought they'd have to be accessories, or not accessories.
This is
characters.
this is why I'm thinking. I don't know if I've just broken the rules here.
I'll give you it.
Well,
I think you can do it. Technically, DiBiase's in his manager gear in 2 of his releases.
Yeah, and let's be fair as well. It's maybe only the reason why it's because it's a new suggestion and it hasn't been done yet. As a, you know what I mean? And we haven't had a manager as a, I suppose, if you want to theoretically, we haven't had an actual manager Hasbro yet. So this would be the first. So it's like it's not just another woman character in the line, which there obviously aren't any of until we've suggested the Azure and Alundra. This would be the third woman in the line, but it's the first ever official manager.
Here, baby.
Breaking boundaries and all sorts here. Yeah. So I think we all agree that that's fair enough, and it sets the standard for what we can pick going forward.
Yeah. Well, it sets the standard for my next 2 choices, which I think but you got to think as well. 96, with the women that they had coming in, it was the first. I mean, okay, Sherry and Elizabeth, especially Elizabeth, they were marketed and had merchandise and stuff like that. Elizabeth had figures, or had a figure, the LJN. This was really the first year where the women were like really being marketed as something contemporary with AOL and with the photo shoots and the Raw magazine and stuff like that, and
as you said before, like BCA, like Jax had started to, or about to start making women manager figures or women figures in general. So timeline wise, that crosses over too, and we're assuming that Hasbro would have seen the reason to do it, because as you said, they were popular, thankfully.
Well, that's the thing, they were popular, like I think they would have seen or known or maybe even got the push from WWF, we want Sunny figures out there on the pegs, etc., which is my next choice, by the way. So
okay,
I thought that might be happening.
So yeah, Sunny would be the next choice. Now I've picked it for June, which would be Smoking Guns, and the fact that there were already a set of Smoking Guns, even though they're a little dated, I don't think that would harm a potential Sunny release. Now, Sunny would have molded on cowboy hat. She would have the denim. She would have the skirt with the cowboy boots. Oh no, not cowboy boots. Sorry, because again, new mold. Alundra. It would be just boots. And I think because I just don't think that there would be all new molds made for stuff like this. But you can. I would start adding a little bit of cloth. At that point, so with this because the Alundra attire is going to be molded on, unless they go with like hot pants or something like that. But which I mean isn't out of the question. Which is why I was thinking like Bonnie Donna Sunny. But if we're going with June, it would be Smoking Guns, and the Smoking Guns already exist. Now I think as a selling point to this, I am going to add an accessory because I think probably for the first time in a few years, the tag division, no matter what anyone might think of the teams in that tag division, it was being pushed with storylines and, there were title changes and Sunny was the center of this. So for a selling point, I would put her with the first tag team title, which would encourage people to buy more than one. And she was the center of the tag team division in 1996. She managed 3 sets of tag team champions. And yeah, I just think that would it would encourage the boys who necessarily may not buy girl figures to buy the Sunny figure. So she will come with a tag team belt.
Just the one.
And
I
the
don't
third
know if
choice-
this is allowed, but I think Mark was about to say the same thing. You could get away with giving her 2, because she oftentimes walked around with both tag titles. You know what I mean? You could get away with doing 2, but I'll leave that up to you.
She did, but I think if we're looking at it from like a kind of a business point of view, people will buy more than one Sunny. And
True.
if they do
Not
a
around my
tag
end, they
belt-
wouldn't. They would buy one and steal a belt out of another one.
Yeah, there you
that's
go.
fair.
Yeah.
And it gives the potential, because I think, in my opinion, it's going to be a long time before they add a belt with another figure after this. A tag belt, certainly. So it does leave it open for putting the tag belt with someone else in the future, but I just think, because Sunny's going to have a lot of new parts to her, new cloth and stuff like that, one tag belt, I think, in the style of the Hasbro belt, will be more than enough. I mean, they even do that now. They only put one tag belt in with double packs, and it's really annoying sometimes. But so number 3 for June 96 would be Sable. And yes, we don't have a Mero yet, but I'm thinking that one of yous might pick Mero. And she would be an easy head to toe black leather, because she wasn't wearing the evening gowns at that point. And I would give her an accessory, and it would be the Cat o' Nine Tails, which did also come with I think the Ripped and Ruthless Jax figure at the time. So number 3 would be Sable. So those are
And so
my
that would
6.
basically be like, obviously a new head, but like on the Alundra body, just repainted.
It would be the
essentially.
Alundra body, yeah. And the thing is as well, I think that, again, thinking of it from their point of view, they would want to get as much use out of a mold as possible, and you can't use an Alundra body on like a new Undertaker figure, for example. You know what I mean? Like, they're gonna do as many
I don't
women
think
as
you
possible. Because the thing is, as well, if the women's division had continued into 96, I think they would have, based on the fact that we've got Alundra and Aja Kong out there, they may have made a Bertha Faye or whoever stuck around. Chaparita or sorry, I'll insist that they make one of them. Those are my 3 choices.
Cool. Nice one.
Fantastic.
So yes, we
So
will. That's over to you.
Well, before we do, we've got to check out a word from our sponsors.
J&J Figures offers a huge array of collectible wrestling action figures and merchandise, including highly limited and exclusive releases. You can order their products at www.jjfigures.com. Or you can catch their stall at wrestling conventions and events across the USA. Their products are solely intended for your collecting pleasure.
Right, so we are back. I'm very glad I'm going next. And you can read into that how you'd like. I'm gonna mix up. I had March and May. So I had WrestleMania, which meant I had a lot of good choices, which made it a little tricky. And I was able to split it up evenly. 3 from March, 3 from May. I'm gonna go a little bit out of order because 2 of my picks really go nicely with a couple things Pablo was saying. From March, he was a very prominent character heading into WrestleMania, and like I always do, I bring visuals. So Goldust, who, I'm sorry, but you got Marlina, but you don't have a Goldust yet. You got to have a Goldust. And I didn't want to give anything away, but I had this guy when you were talking about Jake the Snake. The reason I have him here is I do think this would be the body that they would use for Goldust, essentially. I don't know if I'm gonna say they're gonna remold the arms. That way he has molded on gloves. And they're gonna give him a removable wig, just like the Mattel Retro that I have right here. So Jake the Snake body, with a removable wig for Goldust. So
you wouldn't use the Undertaker gloves. Oh no, because he's got the molded on sleeves.
He's got the sleeves. Yeah.
He does.
So,
fair enough.
Being a sculptor and knowing how some of that stuff works, they might kind of manipulate the molds and not have to start completely from scratch on that one. But I do think that's the way that would go. So this is the part that I'm gonna go a little bit untraditional with. So I'm going to go to one of my May picks now. And it's going to be from that In Your House. And it's going to be a Marc Mero figure. So I have the Hastel Toys Marc Mero here, which is, I believe, the same red attire that he had on at that In Your House. But as much as I do actually really like this figure, I think they would have made him a jumper. So I'm going to say it would be a jumper, Wildman Marc Mero. So goes nicely with your Sable. Whether or not all of those picks get in, we'll see, but I thought I'd start there. All right, so going back kind of in order a little bit here. March, we had this guy play a very big role at WrestleMania. So we got Shawn Michaels. The Iron Man match attire is what I'm thinking. It would be the same Hasbro body with a new head, and it would come with a WWF championship. So same as the one that was released previously with the ring, gives people another chance to get it. And I do think that obviously that's like such a huge, even today, like still such a historic match that I think it would make sense that that figure gets made. And then another one from WrestleMania, a new Ultimate Warrior. So I brought over my BCA Ultimate Warrior to show that I think it would be this Gorilla Press Ultimate Warrior, and it would have a new head. Very similar, but the reason I brought over the BCA is the longer, less mullet-like hair, which Mattel, love you Mattel, you guys failed on this Ultimate Warrior. They did not give him that longer, straighter hair that the BCA actually has pretty nicely represented here. So I think that would also, that one warrior nation, is that what he called himself? Essentially, like that was his thing then, or whatever it was.
Later on it was. In WCW it was, yeah.
Oh, it was a W. Okay, fair enough. Sorry about that. But this color scheme, the bright new gen blue, yellow type color scheme on a Hasbro would look so great. So,
you know what? Do you know what was one of the better Warrior heads as well? Do you know the Classic Superstars Series 14 and the singlet? That had the straight hair.
Oh, did it? Okay.
1992, and it was blonde as well. I don't know if I can grab it. It's too far away. But I was disappointed that they didn't use that when Jax made the WrestleMania 12 one as well. They just kind of reused that classic.
That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
But I love that attack. And as well, when you say with the Warrior having that pose, I always think of him on the second rope, because I think they took a really famous picture of him at Mania 12 with his hands in the air like that, and it's a great shot.
No, I think that this is like the Gorilla Press Slam. This is Ultimate Warrior, in my opinion. I think the other Warriors were good that Hasbro did, but this stands. This is like the definitive Warrior stance for me, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So my 3 from March: Shawn Michaels, Ultimate Warrior, Goldust, and I've already given you one from May, Marc Mero. Another one from May that is probably going to go through. It's time! It's Vader time! So I actually had the exact same pick as you. So I grabbed Bam Bam Bigelow because he's one of my favorite Hasbros, but same body. Same body as Earthquake, Typhoon, exactly what you said. But I think that that Vader is a good pick. That would be good. And then my last one, and one that I really hope gets through.
There's no
In
chance.
Your House. Steve Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin. He obviously went on to be a pretty big star. In Your House, he had a very good. I rewatched the In Your House once I drew May. He had a very good strap match with Savio Vega. Great match, in my opinion. So I did actually have him booked to come with a strap accessory that would be similar to the Jax one. If y'all remember, I do not have it anymore. I lost it in a move. That came with Dusty Rhodes and Cody Rhodes, I believe.
Crazily.
You have it right there. Wow. Anybody that's
right
listening on Spotify should just come over to YouTube. That's a great accessory. I wish I don't
just have things to hand. Like, this is very rare that I can't. If you just name something, I'm not going to be able to grab it. But I've got Dusty Rhodes and Billy Graham together because that's like one of the ultimate cowbell strap match.
That's wonderful. I'm so happy that you had that. That's essentially, obviously not that exact strap, but usable like that one. So you could have some strap matches with your Hasbro figures. So I think that would be good. And it would be it would be very similar to the Mattel Retro, except I don't like how modern retro companies do this. I don't sculpt on this little joint when I make my clothesline guys. I like having it just straight on. But he wouldn't be a clothesline. He would be like Mr. Perfect type body, because you can do a good Stone Cold Stunner with that. So
that is true, but as well, Austin wasn't quite using the stunner at that point.
I thought he was, but it wasn't, because he was Stone Cold at that point.
He was Stone Cold, but he was the first time. I'm going to be a nerd now. Sorry. He used it on a King of the Ring qualifying match.
So it was very close to this.
It was,
and it was arguably one of the best stunners ever, because it was like very sudden and impactful.
Yeah,
I remember that.
yeah.
It was like it's the word stunner was synonymous with that time that he used it. Because arguably after that, it became a lot more, flamboyant-y kind of move, and everybody just reacted to it, like jumped up in the air. But that one was like sick. Yeah.
I would have said the Linda McMahon stunners would have been the best ones ever, but awful. That's my 6. Ultimate Warrior, Ultimate Warrior, Steve Austin, Goldust, Marc Mero, Shawn Michaels, Vader. Did I say everybody? I think I did. Yes. So
all top names. Like, you can't argue with. I mean, we'll try and argue, but you think 6 very, very good names there. 6
and it looks like Vader at least is probably going to make it through.
Well, we'll find out, won't we?
Unless Mark blows our mind here, but we've both chosen Vader, so
we're gonna. I don't know. Just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
We'll see.
We'll find out, won't we?
But
we'll find out. We'll find out after this. Sponsorship advert.
Rock and Roll Collectibles is the UK's leading independent nostalgia-filled merchandise store. So if it's exclusive wrestling figures, trading cards and Funko Pops, or music, pop culture, or horror-themed treasures that you're after, make the trip to their Birmingham-based store or head to www.rocandrollcollectibles.com. rockandrollcollectibles.com.
Okay,
Welcome
so
back.
yeah,
Who's hosting this?
welcome back. Huh?
What happened?
Who's
What?
hosting this?
Are you two
I'll fight you right
talking
now. Who's hosting this?
Did he fight you in a
Well, I
minute?
was the host. Now go on.
Guys,
Yeah,
I just
no,
want to
it's
do
my
a quick
turn, isn't
shout
it?
out since we're back from commercial break. J&J figures. Man, I got an order from them recently. It shipped like, I swear, I think they shipped it before I even put in the order. That's how fast they were. It was insane. And I got a very nice sticker. Looks like the old ECW logos. I got it on my door over there now. Looks great. So thank you, J&J. You guys rock. So
There's a reason why we've got them as sponsors, and I'll tell you what as well. It's funny you should mention the sponsors because, much like J&J, Rock and Roll Collectibles over in the UK, they're actually sending me the next unannounced and unreleased zombie figures that haven't even come out yet. You know what I mean? You know that's how
Nice.
good they are. They're sending us figures that haven't even been released. So
which ones are
no,
those?
just been. It's called a joke.
Oh, come on.
Joe! God!
I was
Joe.
curious.
Joe. No, my point being that they're much like J&J. They're absolutely amazingly good, and we are very, very grateful that both J&J and Rock and Roll are involved, and we will get to why they're involved towards the back end of the podcast, because there will be a prize to announce. But before we get to that point, I might as well go through my selections for the start of 1996. So I got April and February, or February and April, if you want to do it in order, of 1996. We might as well just get straight to the point. Vader. Yes, I went Vader as well.
That's the
I went
first
Vader as well.
time that all three of
First
us have
time.
agreed, huh?
It
Yeah.
absolutely is. There is a bit of a difference with mine, though. Not in the sense
here
of the mold, because the mold is exactly the same as your guys. It's going to be using the Earthquake Bam Bam mold. However, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce
the character card.
I would like to suggest. I'm going to hold this because this is how we have to do from now on. When we announce who, we have to hold this up.
That's what happens when we announce cut.
It is. Character card. Mr. James E. Cornett, ladies and gentlemen, will be accompanying Vader to the ring. Vader gets through automatically because all three of us have said Vader. I mean, even if two of us did, there's a very good chance he would have got through anyway. But all three of us have said Vader in the same mold. That tells us something, doesn't it? That Vader definitely should be released. And I've taken one for the team. I've used my character card because I think James E. Cornett should absolutely 100% be involved in this series and this line. And I think what better way to introduce him than coming as a manager style figure with Mr. Vader. Now, what I will do is I will put up for not even debate, but just for suggestion, what colour scheme we would like him to wear. Because we've all said him, and it covers essentially the first half of the entirety of 1996.
I'm walking away for a second.
Yep.
Keep going.
He's getting emotional.
Oh, I know where he's going. I know what he's going to get. We need to think of what colour scheme we want him to have. And Joe's going to suggest right now what colour scheme we want him to have. What I will say is that there he is.
So here's a Jim Cornette that I did. I don't know about the body style. Maybe you wanted him to be gorilla press. I don't know.
Well,
but
Yokozuna is going to suggest.
There you go. Nice. So this, for those of you listening, Jim Cornette has a red sports jacket in like a salmon color, really ugly color pants, and then like a maroonish shoe.
It's a
And,
great color scheme.
yeah.
It's a good color scheme.
Yeah,
It's a good color
yeah,
scheme. Now,
I love that type of scheme, but there's so many
what
different choices you
there
could do.
is, and I think Pablo will struggle to narrow it down from the 9 that he's currently got going around in his head right now. Do you want to chirp in, Pablo, with your favorite, what your preferred color scheme would be, given the fact that it's the first half of 1996 we're talking about, when he was
Well,
kind of with
that's the
Vader in the
thing.
early days?
It kind of toned it down a little by 96 is the thing. So it was like he had like it looked more like the BCA, so like the sort of blue, not blue, but like the sort of light blue normal kind of suit jacket with the black pants. He wasn't really doing a whole lot of colourful stuff at that point, but I don't think you can go against either red pants or the sort of red pink combos.
Yeah.
You've got. I wouldn't put any black on them at all.
I think I'm up for going for the red and pink. I think we'll all agree on that. We'll go for the red and pink. But what I will say is we'll go for the essentially it's the black tuxedo dollar man style rather than the green stomping style. So we'll go for the solid legs with the pointing finger and with molded on glasses, because that's what would have happened with Hasbro at the time. And with the accessory of the racket. So yeah, we're getting a free Jim Cornette figure of this episode, this series, lads. You're very bloody welcome. So yeah, with Vader, I had a lot to talk about, but I don't really see the point in talking about it. The main selling point was he came in with such an impact, and on this particular on April the 8th is when of Raw is where he broke Yokozuna's leg, I believe it was, on that particular episode. The best part of all that was obviously the forklift. That was potentially going to be the accessory I was going to throw in there as well. But
that would have probably had to be a playset card.
I really enjoyed the well, yeah, very true. I really enjoyed the precursor to the forklift, though, of when you had different officials trying to carry a 650 pounds Yokozuna on a stretcher. That was a good effort.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love the way that Mr. Fuji is stood there the whole time, just grinning. Do you know, like in '96 when Fuji was with Yoko at this time, he was just obviously caked off his head the whole entirety of the time. He was absolutely boxed. He'd been outside getting hot boxed with Papa Shango in a car somewhere, and all the time. Like I know for our Spotify people, they can't see my face, but just generally a chilled old man grin with his eyes completely glazed over, while Yokozuna's getting his leg broken. And he's like, oh, he's just like nodding away with his little grin, his little sayonara grin, sayonara. I don't know what planet he was on, but it was fantastic. He was just tripping his tits off while Yoko was falling off into an ambulance, and fantastic. But that's why I picked Vader anyway.
I'm crying over here, man.
What I did like as well is on that particular episode, is Mr. Perfect called him Free Willy. Yokozuna. He called Yokozuna Free Willy as they were trying to get him into the ambulance. So all three of us gone for Vader, and we've got Cornette.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one on the list. Jake the Snake Roberts, 1996.
Oh fuck.
So, with Jake the Snake, it's obviously the green tights that he wore and the greeny kind of snakeskin vest, as Pablo was talking about earlier on. Accessory with the yellow albino python, Revelations, which he showed for the first time. He debuted the snake on April the 1st.
That is true, to be fair. Yeah, he didn't bring it out at the Rumble, did he? So
he didn't bring it out at the Rumble. He kept it in his pants.
No.
But I'm bringing it out, so don't worry about it. And because that's two of us who suggested it, he automatically gets through.
Does he?
You might. We'll find. We'll find out, won't we?
I'm going to veto my own choice. Yeah.
Funny enough, in your house, he had a normal python. before, like
did he really?
pre-Revelations.
I don't
He
even
just
remember.
had a standard.
Yeah.
He had a knockoff Damien.
Which
basically.
month? Which month have you got?
Been the In Your House before April. So what was that?
Oh, so
March
February.
or February? Yeah, the February In Your House.
He was on the
Yeah.
pre-show. He was on the pre-show
Yeah,
against
that's
Tatanka.
right. But he no, but I think he showed it off in an interview set in a skit. I can't remember now. But he definitely, I remember looking back, and he didn't have He debuted Revelations on because he said it was a big announcement that he showed it. So I was like, well, I need to find out now what snake did he have when he was showing up the other week, kind of thing. And it was just a normal Python, but Revelations was
Do
displayed.
you remember that match as well? He also didn't have his top. He just wore like a green cut-off T-shirt.
Yeah, it was really odd.
Do
Yeah,
you remember that? That was quite
very
odd. Like, yeah.
One thing I will say is that for the mold, what I said I would go for is more like the Macho King clothesline mold. With on one arm, so he could do that short arm clothesline that he loves to do, where he spins and does the really fast snap clothesline, but then with a Mr. Perfect DDT arm on the other side. Like the Mr. Perfect arm. So it's like so he can do that really fair, that really amazing short spin around clothesline, snap clothesline that he does. I really loved that clothesline. I thought it was so good, the impact and the snap of it, and how quick the opponent fell. I think it's an underrated kind of what you call that, like a signature move rather than a finisher. So yeah, I'd like him to have that if possible, along with the Mr. Perfect, and agreeing with you, the DDT style arm, obviously. And I think this would actually probably be his final fig that he ever gets in WWF. So that was one of my kind of like ending comments. It was this could be his final opportunity for a figure, because what was he doing at the second half of 1996? Not really much of an opportunity. So, but thankfully,
not that we would know.
Not that we would know yet. We don't have a clue what happens, do we?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's Jake Roberts and Vader I've mentioned. Marc Mero.
Oh, hello.
Marc Mero. It's a very interesting one this month, isn't it, lads?
It is. It is. Hey,
and it has. We'll carry on with this one first. Drop kick mold as not the drop kickers in the jumper. Drop kickers in the what I call a drop kick mold. The legs are closer, like Martel, the one that Hastel made. That style. I think I've said. Actually, I haven't. No, I'm lying. I'm lying. I did think of that originally, then I crossed it out. I've got in bracket here the jumper, so I've gone with the same as you. I've actually decided a jumper mold the same with you. I've decided for but with like a Virgil style punching arm. So it's kind of like alluding to the fact that he can punch, because he's not that we know yet, but Golden Gloves champion. He knows how to box, so he's going to get the Virgil boxing punching arm. I'm trying to think. I think I went for the sort of the black and bronze kind of color scheme. The sort of like goldy bronzy color that he had. Well,
the one he seemed to wear a lot more. And the only reason I went with the red is because I was watching that In Your House, and I said, that's when he wore that red. So perfect.
I think either or was actually pretty damn good, to be fair.
Because I thought he didn't start wearing colours until SummerSlam, when Sable started wearing the dress. I didn't think he started wearing the different colours until SummerSlam, when Sable started wearing the evening gowns.
Well, I know on April the 1st, because that was the Raw that I was watching there's quite a lot going on April the 1st Raw, as we've mentioned with Jake Robertson.
Mankind's debut.
But we'll get to that. But Marc Mero, he was wearing the black and the bronze, and he could have turned a lot of people off straight away, because one of the things that he did quite a lot on the episode, I think I counted, he did it 6 times. He said, "I'm crazy. I'm crazy. Look at my crazy eyes." He did that a lot, to the point where you thought you're just a bit of a bellend, actually, aren't you? I'm not sure whether I like you, but I could see through it. Thankfully, I could see through it. But Marc Mero, so he's got 2 votes. Jake Roberts has got 2 votes, as I said. Vader has got 3 votes. I will now go on to the last pick of the double ups, if that makes any sense. So I've got one more. I've got 3 more guys to go. One of which, this next one, is one that one of you have said as well. Ooh. Ultimate Warrior.
Oh, damn it! I was
went for
hoping
Ultimate
for
Warrior.
Steve Austin.
I went for Ultimate Warrior. Now, I went off-piste a bit here with Ultimate
I think
Warrior.
I already know what you're going to say. I don't know, but I have a good idea. Go on. Does it involve a baseball cap?
No, it doesn't. I didn't go that mental. But it's based on an interview that he had on Raw, where the one where he snarled at Goldust, the precursor of the match, the sort of the interview, and Goldust was trying to, get off with him or whatever the situation was. And when he said, "Hold it right there, freak! Whatever you're into, I don't give a shit." That interview, hold it right, yeah. Yeah. So basically, it's the one where it's like the blue trunks and the yellowy orangey boots. If you kind of remember that. He wore it on that interview anyway. I thought it looked really
Is that his
cool.
Mania
Kind
12 gear? I'm thinking that
I
might
don't
be
know
his
if it's
Mania 12 gear,
slightly
to be honest.
different. I think that it could be, but there are 2 slightly variations of that blue, because I remember when I was painting those weird Russian doll sets, and I found a really weird one of Warrior. Anyway, the weird bit that I went for is the fact that I went for a Mr. Perfect style mold. But I'll happily concede straight away that sounds like dog shit. So
I wasn't gonna say it, but sure.
I will swap that out. I just wanted to try something a bit different, and what I'll do is I'm going to agree with Joe that the Gorilla Press is clearly it's the Ultimate Warrior, isn't it? At the end of the day, I'm happy to sort of debate about attire, but I'm not that fixated with this particular attire, so I'm happy to go with a different
Well,
one.
it sounds like it's very kind of similar color scheme, anyways. Maybe different boots or something like that.
Yeah,
but,
the yellowy. Yeah, he was wearing yellow and orange boots, but with the bluey kind of weird, mithrily looking trunks.
Tattoos.
Either way, yeah. Either way,
tattoo.
Yep.
I'd give him a tattoo on his face like Mike Tyson, just for a laugh. But either way, that's 2 for Warrior. So as it stands, we have 4 automatic characters in the final, which only leaves space for 2 to debate. So I might as well bowl out my remaining 2 to put them into the mixer. The first of which is Mankind, as mentioned before by Pablo there, because again, debut for Mr. Mankind. I was thinking the Greg Valentine style mold. Again, sort of like the slightly chunkier kind of clothesline-y thing, but changing out his mainly because again, a bit of a signature move of his was he would do that run across the apron and then the elbow. Like he threw a lot of elbows, a lot of elbow drops. So I thought, right, what can we do? Because his finishing moves are mandible claw, so we can remold. And I think Hasbro would have. I think WWF would have made exception for somebody like Mankind at the time to do something specific to like
I think so.
a change of a hand, with it being his finisher. So we've had the wrap tape, the black tape around, or the cloth around the fingers, middle 2 fingers. But I would have given the other arm like an elbow drop style arm, because he liked to throw that a lot from as I say, the running along the apron and the elbow down. In fact, I believe that he did that in the smash against Bob Holly. He absolutely beat the shit out of Bob Holly as well, which was fantastic to see. And not only that, it was a big debut for him, because then he appeared later on as well, where he came down and kicked the shit out of the Undertaker as well. In a run-in. Fantastic debut, really, isn't it? Smash the guy that you're against and turn up later on and knack the Undertaker. So that to me that was the best Mankind. It's the best Mick Foley character, in my opinion, that's ever been. I know a lot of people will debate that, but I think very early debuting Mankind up to the boiler room and all that stuff. I think that version of Mick Foley is arguably the best Mick Foley that's ever existed as a wrestler, and I thoroughly enjoyed that character. Everything from I mean, he just looked like a psychopath. Like, there's a moment he walked out, looking up and pulling his hair and rocking in the corner.
Both of his theme songs, too.
2 different theme tunes. Like,
both of them fire, too. I love them.
Absolutely amazing and perfect. Perfect for that character. So, yeah, I was kind of like pretty set on really hoping that Mankind would get through because, as I say, kind of alluding to what you were talking about earlier, Joe, about not being able to see the future and predict it. So it's the kind of opposite with this, where it's like normally we would have said, let's leave it for a later version because there's plenty of other options. To me, this is the option to go for because it's the best by a country mile. But that'll come out in the wash when we start debating about the other guys.
So
the other guy on the list,
I want to chime in real quick before you do your last one. Mankind would have been one of my picks, but he hadn't debuted yet in my months, and I didn't realize that until going back and looking, because I said 96 Mankind, like he was kind of in there for mine. So if he goes through, that's not to look ahead, but next episode he probably will be one of my picks if he doesn't go through this time. So yeah.
Fair enough. Well, I will finish on my last pick, which is Mr. Justin Hawk Bradshaw.
Oh,
I went for this big daft cowboy. I would go for the Texas Tornado mold, and I don't think we've used that yet with any of our characters or any of our picks from previous. I think it's the first time we've used the full-on double clothesline mold.
Isn't that what we agreed on with Bulldog? Or no,
maybe.
No, I'm sorry.
No,
we did the gorilla press, didn't we? To match Luger.
Yeah, I think we did. I think we did in the end. Yeah. To match Luger. Yeah. So I think I'd go with the tornado style. Dare I say, not predicting the future, clothesline from hell-esque kind of thing. I know it wasn't called that at the time, but he was still laying out some funky, really horrific clotheslines. The lariat, essentially. So I will.
That must be where that JBL guy got it from. Huh?
He must have stolen it. Yeah. Absolutely.
I think so.
I'd go for his obvious standard red trunks attire. Molded on cowboy hat. I will say molded on cowboy hat.
Yep.
But with an accessory of the branding iron. Which I think would have been quite a cool accessory at the time. Just to point out, by this point, he'd been unbeaten as Justin Bradshaw in all of his single matches, to the point of facing The Undertaker on April the 1st of 96. So he'd been beaten. He'd been unbeaten to that point. Interesting. We'll get to that shortly. Because I think you need to think about, before you do that, I think we need to really, there's some kind of, before you start throwing up different cards, I think there's a lot of discussion to be had about the remaining picks, about how and what we do here. Because there might be some jiggery pokery going on. But anyway, what was I going to say? It doesn't really matter because he's not going to get through anyway. But Justin Hawk Bradshaw is my final decision.
Okay, can I make a suggestion then?
No,
with the Bradshaw, because I mean the BCA Bradshaw had removed a molded on hat. Well, it was molded on. You couldn't remove it.
Could. The Blackjacks had
Blackjacks.
Yeah, and we all thought, because they did the removable hat for Justin Hawk Bradshaw, we all thought those Blackjacks would have a removable hat, and then we got them and couldn't get them off. Oh, so disappointing. I ripped mine off anyways, and they had the little... Yeah.
Well, the one thing that the Bradshaw does have is molded on waistcoat, so would you maybe go with the Razor vest for that, or would you just go for gear? Like sort of
I'd be tempted to go for a Razor vest, but it would have to be molded to make sense for me with the way that Hasbro did vests. It would need to be molded, in my opinion.
Because he never had a vest, though. Is the thing? It's just because I'm thinking, because he only had the long
jacket.
Vest.
I meant the
like a waistcoat. No,
Yeah.
but that's what I mean. He never really even had a waistcoat, but for some reason the BCA made him in a waistcoat. So I was thinking,
Yeah.
well, there's nothing stopping the Hasbro one from him having a waistcoat as well.
I
But
think he's getting enough with a whip, to be honest. And it's
Mm.
kind of redundant
Right.
because he's not getting through anyway. So, like, if we're going to be completely honest.
I
Right,
can't believe
what we
no one
will
picked
do...
Cloudy. Like,
well, we were close.
Oh
Um,
man.
what we'll do very,
Yeah.
very quickly, guys, is just we'll state the 4 that we've got through. Then what we'll do is we'll go through our remaining guys, because I'm aware of the time that we're on. We'll go through our remaining guys and then agree on the 2 of those. Bear in mind at this point when we're talking about characters, anybody can still use their cards, right?
Mhm.
All I'm saying is, if there's some leaning towards Goldust, for example, a character card could potentially be also played by a certain somebody if they want a certain somebody to be included with Goldust. I'm just throwing that out there. We've got lots of, there's options here if people want to go down that route, because there's a few options, isn't there, if we think about it. So anyway, Vader is going through on a landslide of all 3 of us picking him. Mero's had 2 votes, so he's going through automatically. Jake's going through automatically with 2 votes. Warrior's going through automatically with 2 votes, unless somebody wants to play a veto card.
no, I think it's
Doesn't look
Not
like
at this point. Not at this
No,
point. I'm not
not at this point.
saying
Not at this
no,
point.
but yeah.
So let's go through the remaining guys then, and then let's sort of see where we all sit on that.
Well,
So we've got what?
What about the fan pick?
Yeah, I thought we would do that after
All
we've
right,
gone through our
let's
guys.
carry
Unless
on,
you want
mate.
to do that now.
No, I mean it's fine.
No,
That's
trust an
okay.
American to go steamrolling in when it's not his land.
Yep, that's what we do.
Right, 1, 2, 3 kid. 1, 2, 3 kid from Pablo is one of the options on the table. Marlina from Pablo is another option on the table, which again worth considering for other things. Sunny from Pablo is another option, and Sable from Pablo is another option. Again, arguably, potentially, somebody to consider with a certain card. The reason being that Marc Mero's already through. Goldust from Joe is an option. HBK from Joe is an option. And Austin from Joe is an option. Justin Hawk Bradshaw from me is an option. Mankind from me is an option. Out of those remaining guys, 1, 2, 3 kid, Marlina, Sunny, Sable, Goldust, HBK, Austin, Mankind, and Bradshaw. Has anybody got any strong feelings towards a particular character that isn't on their list? So, for example, Pablo, out of my guys and Joe's guys, is there anybody that stands out to you that you would like to vote for?
I think by this point, I don't see how you can't have a Goldust figure.
I'm glad you said
and I
that because I
don't
was
think
going to say exactly the same.
I don't think the Goldust, and sounds horrible, but I don't think the Goldust necessarily needs a Marlena figure at this point. And Goldust didn't have Marlena for the first few months as well, so the Goldust figure is toyetic enough and strong enough to be its own release. So I would certainly lean towards the Goldust. Who were the
Well,
others?
based
Sorry, it
on
was
that, no, it's okay, it's okay. I'm just saying, based on that, I'm going to be straight to the point and say Goldust was definitely going to be one of my options. Joe's obviously picked him, so unless Joe wants to veto himself out of it, I think Goldust makes the final list. So that's 5. So we're down to the last option. This is mental, isn't it? How it's really difficult at this stage. Well, you've picked a guy there. Let's go to Joe. Joe, is there anybody from Pablo's list on my list?
So there was, but now I'm second guessing it because I was gonna say Sunny. I thought that Sunny actually would be a very good one, and I thought getting us a tag belt would be a good one. But now I'm just with the way that everything else has played out. I'm not sure that I want to stick with that.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Mankind, but I feel pretty strongly about this guy right here. Because Stone Cold Steve Austin, sorry for Spotify listeners. Because he also won the King of the Ring, didn't he? So
yeah,
you've got, you know, Austin 316, that birth, you know, whether or not it's specifically from the strap match, I feel like it's, you know, obviously WWF at that time is putting a lot of stock into him, and I think that it would make sense for
You've
him
got
to
some
get
options
that
as well
figured
for
out.
the Austin, because he didn't have the stars on his boots by that point, but he did have that design on the back of his trunks, the Stone Cold design that kind of looked like eagle wings coming out the side. Do you remember that? It wasn't very
Vaguely.
often,
Yeah.
but it would add a little bit of color to it. The flashback Austin that Mattel did came with that waistcoat, and he also had it on the back of his trunks. So just if a little color was to be added to it, you know, it's always an option. But yeah, you can't go wrong with the Austin. But
is that like another one that you'd go for there, Pablo Austin? Like
I
from
think
Joe's
so.
selection?
I think so. It
'Cause
would be Austin and Goldust. Like,
I think we're all on the same page. Because for me, whilst I like the idea of Shawn, it's not necessary. I know we can't look into the future and all that.
Yeah, but I agree with you,
but
though.
at the time,
Yeah.
I think we can assume that Shawn's not going anywhere and he's going to be on top for a while. Like, I think it's fair to
Mhm.
assume that based on his place on the card.
He's the WWF champion, right?
Exactly.
So I mean, yeah, that's, you know,
I think it's fair.
just
I think
like
it's
Bob
fair to
Backlund
assume
when he won the title, he was obviously on the top of the card for a while.
exactly the same.
Yeah,
like when DiBiase won it, and it was never.
Yeah, exactly.
well, I was going to say
Yeah.
we have a Dean Douglas with an Intercontinental belt, and I think he was
Yeah,
good like
This is
this.
true. This is true. Yeah. Yeah. He had it for what, a cup of coffee. So yeah.
So out of mine, I'm fair. It's fair to say that Bradshaw's not getting a sniff this one. Mankind, it's I can't look into the future, but there's time. That's all I'm going to say without going into.
There's time, and you know what?
Time.
You can't look into the future, but he just debuted.
It's just debuted,
So
and you can only and it's a strong debut, so you can assume that there's going to be a little bit of leverage.
Yeah.
To see him into the next few months, at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
And as well, look, if they can make a Giant Gonzalez figure based on his debut against The Undertaker, I think Mankind's just as good of an argument, sort of thing, and very toyetic as well. So, yeah.
I think
that's a good point.
Oh. Yeah, it's out of Mankind and Austin for me, but I can't vote for my own, so I'm going to have to go for Austin.
Oh, I voted for my own. You could.
You could. Yeah, I voted for my own,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
No, I think bringing out an early Austin's not a daft shout, because I just think that with Mankind, we're not losing anything about him, or he's not changing dramatically over the next 3 or 4 months.
Well, if that's the reasoning, Austin isn't either. But yeah, I get what you're saying. So, yeah.
I just think I think with Mankind, there's an option to do something really fun with him in a little bit as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm thinking of cards and different things here.
Yes,
potentially.
Me too.
So there's options with him compared to Austin. Like you can do something very fucking fun indeed with Mankind, depending if you get the right month and the right playset card.
So before we lock it in, we should go to the fan picks too.
Yeah,
we had some really good suggestions.
We do, and I'm just thinking, based on the fact that we've got a certain amount of time, I'm wondering if we mention our top pick, but what we'll do is we'll tell everybody to check out our Instagram page to see everybody a selection of our other favourite submissions, because we've had some
Figure
absolute
Pod
beauties
on Instagram. Yeah, we had some really, really good suggestions, including some artwork as well, which was so cool. It blew me away that people are doing this type of
Yeah,
stuff. So,
we'll actually show that
yeah.
artwork here of Justin Hawk Bradshaw. You can see it on the screen now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although what we will say is, while this isn't necessarily the pick that we're going for as the winner this month,
Yeah,
we wanted to
sorry.
show off this piece
Yeah.
of art. No, I really
Yeah.
wanted to show off this piece of artwork because it is fantastic. And it was lovely to get something like that, to receive something like that.
Yeah, it was so
Whilst
cool.
this character didn't make it through because of what we've discussed in this episode, the one character that did make it through is somebody who has actually made it through from our picks, albeit in the form of a character card. We went with Wrestling Tycoon. He suggested Mr. James Cornette in the $1 Million suit, the $1 Million Man suit. So well done, because we'll be in touch very, very soon, and J&J Collectibles will be in touch with you to talk about your prize. So fantastic! Thank you for submitting that. It's a great submission, and you know, when we looked at the options and when we discussed it and when we've had a bit of a chat about things before the guys even knew I was going to be playing my character card, we agreed that that would be a great submission for a winner this month. Just because, and again, Joe showed off earlier on a custom that he'd made of that essentially almost exact version of that figure, albeit a different, slightly different $1 Million Man suit version with the stomp. But well done to you. As Joe said, check out our Instagram page, which is FigurePod, to see an amazing selection of other people's submissions. And we had loads this month. I mean, we'll do the top 10 on Instagram, but there was so many submissions, which is pretty fantastic. Thank you all for getting in touch. It's very, very difficult now to select a winner. We will say that much. But without further ado, let's read out the final 6 in no particular order of series 15, lime green, whatever we're doing.
Yep, lime green.
Series 15.
Lime green, series 15.
We've got the man known as Vader with Jim Cornette on his side. We've got Marc Mero, the wild man with the crazy eyes. No, these crazy eyes that he likes to point out. We've got Jake Roberts with his albino snake revelations. We've got the Ultimate Warrior making his arguably last ever Hasbro figure release, because he wasn't about for very long afterwards. But we'll see how that goes actually going forward, because we've got some other ideas for future series. Anyway, Ultimate Warrior. We've got who else have we got here? Goldust, which was an absolute necessity for this series. We needed Goldust in this line because it's just such a good figure. And last but not least, Mr. Steve Austin, prior to him, before we know anything about him, because we can't see into the future. So he's just, you know, he's just a mid-carder.
The king of the ring.
King of the ring.
And
king of the mids.
Yeah. And he did start getting called Stone Cold at this point. So
he did indeed.
Cool.
He did indeed.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yep.
I can't believe how many we all agreed on there in terms of how many we all.
That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I have to say. And yeah.
As we're wrapping up, then, is there anything that you want to plug, Joe, before we go?
Anything I want to plug? FigurePod on Instagram, JPD Customs on Instagram, Turn Chuckle on Instagram, Grapple Arcade on Instagram, and CCP_podcasting on Instagram. Follow all of those.
Also, this month's issue of Inside the Ropes, there's an article on the podcast written by Fox that everyone should check out. That guy, he slandered me, but I made him take it out. But as the host, because I am the host, by the way. Thank you very much, Fox.
Well, good. No, I'm glad we could get a bit of notoriety. It's nice to see that people are joining us and listening to us and getting involved. And I mean, there might be a couple. I don't know.
I'm gonna have to have one of my UK pals send me a physical copy.
Oh, we'll get something sorted. We'll get you something sorted.
Yeah.
Massive shout out to Rock and Roll Collectibles, our beautiful sponsors, along with our fantabulous other sponsors, J&J Figures. We are very, very thrilled to have them both on board.
Yes.
Inside the Ropes, magazine.com. Go there for all of your mint magazines, as mentioned by Pablo, but also in Glasgow, in Scotland, on May the 17th, we've got a special meet and greet with Rhino, ECW,
cool.
WWE, TNA legend. Mr. Rhino is coming over for a big get-together and a chat about his career, and I'm absolutely devastated that I can't go because I've got a gig in Leicester the night before, and there's no trains that will get me there on time, the buggers. And last but not least, Micro Titans Wrestling, our video game, is now available not only to wishlist on Steam, but the demo is live. Go and download it. It's free to download. We're running a huge fun competition.
I know what I'm doing in a few minutes.
You know what you're going to be doing. Where we're going to be running a high score competition. So we will be doing some kind of cool tournament with leaderboards, and we'll have a belt, and it'll be worldwide, and this, that, and the other. And the fun thing is with that game, all the characters in the demo are all original characters that we've designed for the game. However, we've got some quite fun celebrity guests from the internet world and other places who are going to be as DLC, and we've got a whole host of wrestling superstar legends from the 80s and 90s that we've also assigned to the game that will be also available later on in the full game. With that said, thank you all for listening, everybody. Thank you to my wonderful team here, and we will catch you next time. Adios.
See you later.
I'm the host.